Joining me now are two editors who I read their columns every Sunday religiously. Vir Sanghvi, I read your column every Sunday in the Hindustan Times and comment a lot about it. And Jaswant Gupta will be joining us in a minute, we hope. Yeah. Tell me, Vir, first just your general take on this.
Well, 3 quick points, Brian. One is I'm not a great fan of Jaswant Singh, his politics, or even his prose. I disagree with him about Jinnah. But the manner in which he's been treated is an utter and complete scandal. It's a disgrace to any political party. And for all his faults, Jaswant Singh is one of the most decent people in Indian politics. He's behaved with extraordinary grace and dignity. And I think his dignity shames the BJP. Second, what does this tell us about the BJP?
Yes.
It's become a party whose only attitude to history is to rewrite it, whose sole response to books is to ban them, whose sole response to scholarship is expulsion.
Look at Gujarat banning the book.
Yeah, you know, Jinnah was actually a Gujarati. Bizarrely, he was a Khoja. And so, in a sense...
You probably deny that, rewrite history.
Of course. I mean, Muslims are not Gujaratis, knowing what's going on there.
Shocking.
And the final thing, and I think you alluded to that in your conversation with Jaswant Singh, is I'm not even sure this is about the book at all. This is a very sordid power play within the BJP. Rajnath Singh is one foot out of the door, the other on a banana peel. He's punishing Jaswant Singh for raising these issues. L.K. Advani is clinging on to his job with his fingernails. He wants all dissenters out. It's a very sad situation.
So what's the future of the BJP? Is it going to split? Is it going to somebody else going to take over? It can't carry on like this. Dissent, these autocratic decisions. It's in really bad. It's sad for anybody to watch.
Well, I think Advani cannot really cling on for much longer. I think Rajnath is on his last legs. It'll probably take about a year or so for this situation to resolve itself. But while Jaswant Singh is expelled, in many ways, this is one of the last nails in Rajnath's own coffin.
That's an interesting point, actually. And they didn't call Arun Shourie, one of their great thinkers, Jaswant Singh. Look at the way
But there's no show cause notice, no opportunity for Jaswant Singh to be heard. This kind of arbitrary decision. And they accuse the Congress of being dictatorial. It's
a bizarre change, I mean, from the days of Mr. Vajpayee. Yeah. And now we see Mr. Advani, who was supported and who really probably believes the same thing as Jaswant Singh on Jinnah. What's happened to him?
I think there's that saying that power corrupts. But in this case, absolute impotence corrupts absolutely. They have no power, they have no hope of power. They're looking at ways of ending their careers. They're small, insecure men, and they're behaving very strangely.
We just heard that Mr. Vajpayee spoke to Mr. Jaswant Singh, and that's the kind of thing you expect from, a great leader. But here we are seeing...
Well, judging by what he said, Advani didn't even call him. After all these years of friendship and service, and Advani went to Pakistan and more or less awarded the Bharat Ratna to Jinnah. So one rule for Advani, who went and made political statements, one rule for Jaswant Singh, who didn't make a political statement but wrote a scholarly book.
Right. Finally, the BJP does have very talented second rung, which is a lovely bench strength to have, but it's also a problem because there's so much infighting as to who's going to take over from Advani.
I think one of the problems of that whole Vajpayee-Advani era was that they didn't really build up a second rung. Vajpayee was very content to have Advani as a successor. Nobody ever imagined a situation would come when they'd have to skip Advani's generation, go to the next one. So there's no immediately apparent leader there, and that accounts for some of the confusion.
So a year from now, you think it'll be sorted out who will take over from Advani?
Yeah, but I said this 6 months ago. I said this mess can't continue. Good, Advani is retired. But I also said on your election program, when you asked about this, I said if there's any chance that Advani's resignation will be accepted or Murli Manohar Joshi will get the job, he'll withdraw his resignation tomorrow. And guess what happened? He withdrew his resignation.
Right. But you haven't told me who's next?
I don't think anybody knows.
Nobody knows.
I think as Advani's concerned, he goes on forever.
If you had to bet your life on it?
I'd put my money on Arun Jaitley.
Arun Jaitley, probably next. Okay, but of course, if you say that, he's had it.
He probably had it already.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We haven't been able to connect with Jaswant Gupta, but thanks very much.
Thanks.
Tuba.com